And we are live. All right, everyone, welcome back to my channel, Baseball Talk with Nick Green. Today is Thursday, August 13th, 2020, and for the first time this season, I am live covering the New York Mets as they host the Washington Nationals for the final game in a four-game series. The Mets aim to win this afternoon's matchup and split the series with the reigning World Series champions, who currently have a 2-1 lead. Though neither team is off to the best start in the shortened 60-game season, with the Nationals third and Mets fourth in the NL East, the 40 or so games left in the season can lead to any team taking home the division title. And that can go for the Mets, the Phillies, the Nationals, the Braves, or the Marlins. It is a really nice division with some talented rosters and organizations. We're only 20 games in, and we still have a lot of game time left. The Mets and the Nationals in this one here, division rivals. If the Mets win this one, they can advance a spot in the division, and that is huge. We're going to take it through the NL East division in just a few moments, but first, let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's or this afternoon's starting pitching matchup. Austin Voth on the mound for the visiting Washington Nationals. The 28-year-old has pitched in 2 games so far this season. He's 0 for 1 with a 1.80 ERA and 10 innings pitched with 7 strikeouts and a .70 whip. David Peterson takes the mound for the home New York Mets. The 6-foot, 6-inch left-handed pitcher has appeared in 3 games this season. 2 wins, 1 loss, and a 3.78 ERA in 16 and 2/3 innings pitched, with 14 strikeouts and a 1.32 whip. It is also his rookie season here for the New York Mets organization. So this is going to be a fun one, guys. The Mets and the Nationals, my first time taking on the Mets live this season. A lot of the games we've covered have been all New York Yankees based. We've seen the Washington Nationals a few times that I've covered here. They have a very strong lineup from top to bottom, 1-9 hitting wise, and one of the best rotations in Major League Baseball, a 1-2-3 of Scherzer, Corbin, and Strasburg. Just really solid here. Definitely a team looking forward can go ahead and make some ruckus, make some noise. They're currently third in the NL East, but this season is only about a third of the way over. So who knows what can happen in the amount of time we still have left. Who do I think is going to win today? Well, it's a tough one here. You have Voth and Peterson. Both are fairly young pitchers. Voth is 28. David Peterson is 24. And this is his initial season in Major League Baseball. This is his only fourth appearance at this level. He's done fairly well so far. Austin Voth, not as much experience this year, but both lineups are really good. The Mets came off of a huge outing yesterday. The Nationals taken 2 of 3 so far, but the Mets really showed up to the plate yesterday. A handful of home runs. Pete Alonso had a nice homer. And I want to say the Mets do end up taking this one here and split the series. Now, I'm rooting for the New York teams. I like the Mets. I like the Yankees. So, of course, I want to see New York do well this afternoon. But really, whoever wins this game, it's going to be a good one, I think. It's either going to be really close or we're just going to see a lot of runs from one given team here. So, a lot to talk about. I mean, Voth, Peterson, and the Nationals lineup, which we're going to get to right now. Leading off, playing shortstop, Trey Turner, Adam Eaton, the left-handed right fielder, will bat second. Starlin Castro, starting at second base, will bat third, and the cleanup batter, Juan Soto, the left-handed hitter, starting left field this afternoon. Kendrick is your designated hitter. He will bat fifth as Jubal Cabrera, the switching first base, and batting sixth. Carter Keema at third, batting seventh. Yan Gomes behind the plate, batting eighth, and Michael A. Taylor batting ninth, starting in center field for the Washington Nationals. Now, we have seen a very similar lineup for the most part from the Washington Nationals for the majority of the season so far. Of course, the first week and a half or so, Juan Soto was not in the lineup. He was out because of COVID-19, but ever since, he has been red hot. In 26 at-bats, he's hitting .423 with 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, and a 1.444 on-base plus slugging. Soto has been red hot. He's batting cleanup again today. And in left field, he's a young star. And it's really exciting to see for Major League Baseball, just as a fan of the game. We have so much young talent. Juan Soto, Ronald Acuna Jr., Luis Robert, Fernando Tatis Jr., and of course so many others. But we are kind of like blessed here. There are so many great guys around the league who are going to be in the game for a long time. And it's just fun to see how they're going to develop as players and how their careers are going to end up. We're definitely looking and a whole lot of Hall of Famers currently in Major League Baseball. And it's going to be a fun one. This game is going to be a really good matchup here. Nationals and Mets division rivals. We'll take it through the NL East standings at the moment. In first, the Miami Marlins with an 8-4 win-loss record. That's good for a 667 win-loss percentage. And of course, because they are in first, they are no games behind the best team in the division. Now, the Atlanta Braves at a win percentage just over 500, winning 11, losing 9 to this point, are 1 game behind. The Washington Nationals find themselves 3 games back of the Marlins. They sit themselves at a 6-8 record. The Mets fourth, 8-11, is good for a 421 win percentage. They are 3.5 back of the Marlins. So if they win this game here, they do take over third in the NL East division. The Nationals will drop down at least 1. And the Philadelphia Phillies are also 3.5 back. They have a 5-8 record, a 385 win percentage. I think we're either going to see a very close game, or it's going to get just blown out of the water here kind of early on, and just a lot of runs from the Nationals or Mets offense. It's hard to say right now what the score is going to be, but the first pitch from David Peterson is a fastball just outside, ball 1 to Trey Turner. Now, this is Peterson's rookie season. He debuted back on July 28th of this year, and Trey Turner threw 60 at-bats is hitting .250 with 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, and a 731 OPS. The second pitch to him here is going to be ball, so he's ahead on the count 2-0 to start off this ball game. David Peterson wearing number 77. The Southpaw was born September 3rd, 1995, and went to Oregon College before he was drafted in the first round overall pick number 20 in the 2017 amateur draft, and he was selected by the New York Mets. The 3-0 to Trey Turner, of course, is a fastball right down the middle that he takes for strike 1, so the count is 3-1 to the Nationals' leadoff batter. Again, just to kind of reinform you here of David Peterson's stats at this point, in 3 games, he is 2-1 with a 3.78 ERA in 16 2/3 innings, with 14 strikeouts and a 1.32 WHIP, and he's going to walk Trey Turner on a fastball outside, and Turner will find himself on board for the first batter of this ballgame. Coming up to the plate now is Adam Eaton. Now, Eaton has 52 at-bats in 2020, hitting .212 with a home run, 3 RBIs, 1 stolen base, and a 595 OPS. His first and only home run to this point in the season came on opening day against the New York Yankees. He was the only hit that Garrett Cole gave up in his debut, and that hit was a home run. Now in the season again, he's hitting .212, and he takes the called strike to get this game, or to get this at-bat underway here. So Trey Turner, the speedy Trey Turner on first, he gets to swipe a bag this season. Adam Eaton shows bunt, gets it down, and Tomas Nido going to throw over to Andres Jimenez, who's covering second. The throw will be wild. Trey Turner will advance to third, and Adam Eaton gets to second. So there is a interesting turn of events there. It is an error on catcher Tomas Nido. So Turner will get from first to third on the wild throw. Andres Jimenez is pulled off the bag, cannot make the catch, and it goes to shallow infield grass. Luis Guillerme, the second baseman, will come up with the ball, but not in time. So Eaton goes from home to second on a bunt and error by Tomas Nido, and Turner advances to third. So 2 men in scoring position now for Starlin Castro, who has been dangerous in 2020. 56 at-bats coming into this afternoon's game, hitting .304 with a pair of home runs and 4 RBIs and 828 OPS. And I was just getting ready to say how Andres Jimenez has been pretty hot for the New York Mets since making his debut, a young stud. He was anticipated to be very good in Major League Baseball, and he has lived up to that. Batting 7th this afternoon, .283 average, 2 RBIs, 4 stolen bases. We'll get more into that as the Mets go to hit in the bottom of the first. Castro with a 2-0 count here as the pitch is going to miss outside. And off speed going to be inside. So 3-0. On deck is Juan Soto. Again, 2 men on base, runners at second and third. Eaton leading off second. Trey Turner, the leadoff batter, just a few feet off third here for Starlin Castro. I'm assuming he has the red light here. He's not going to swing, and it is just outside. The umpire deems it a strike. 3-1 now to the Nationals' second baseman. His nickname is Starlin, and a fun play on words there, like All-Star. And also, of course, his first name, Starlin Castro. The 3-1 delivery from the 24-year-old Peterson. Swing and a miss on a changeup, which looked to be down and in. The count is full now. And David still has yet to retire the first out of the ballgame. Soto on deck. Howie Kendrick in the hole, the designated hitter batting fifth tonight. And that'll be ball 4 in the dirt. So bases are loaded for the left-handed left fielder Juan Soto. Again, red hot since his 2020 debut. A guy to watch out for. In 26 at-bats, he's hitting .423 with 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, and a 1.444 OPS. He's got the bases loaded, nobody out, and he had a huge night the other day against New York when the Washington Nationals won by a score of 16-4. A blowout game. That's either what this game will be here, or it'll be fairly close for the majority of the game here. But it looks like, to this point in time, Peterson finds himself in trouble early. Now, Soto's going to swing and foul off the first pitch that he sees, so it's going to be 0-1. Howie Kendrick, the designated hitter, due up next. The pitch to Juan Soto is a changeup. Good for called strike right at the knees. So Peterson ahead of the count, 0-2. A strikeout here would be huge. I would assume, depending on where the ball is hit, a ground ball, you would exchange 1 run for 2 outs and try to help your pitcher get out of it here. Got him! Strike 3, a changeup down and away. Soto does the well-known Soto shuffle, thinking that's a ball. And when the umpire rings him up, he's got a shocking face. He's genuinely surprised with the call there. It does clip the outside part of the plate, but a changeup down and away. Soto thinks he gets back in the count here, 1-2. But no, the umpire rings him up looking. So that is the first out of the ball game. Bases will still be loaded for the designated hitter, Howie Kendrick, who is batting fifth. Called strike 1, fastball up and in, 94 miles per hour now. Kendrick, through 41 at-bats, is hitting .341 with 1 home run, 3 RBIs, and an .825 OPS. Peterson has the chance to get out of trouble early on here with a ground ball double play, and the 83-mile-per-hour changeup will get Howie swinging and miss for an 0-2 count now. Cabrera on deck. The switch-hitting first baseman will bat right-handed, as David Peterson is a southpaw. That's down in the dirt, 85-mile-per-hour changeup. The count is 1-2 to the DH. Now, the National League did get the universal DH implemented this season. That has helped a variety of ball clubs. Now, the New York Mets and Washington Nationals are one of them. You have Dominic Smith DHing for the New York Mets, and Howie Kendrick, who has been very good. Of course, his defense is not the best as he's getting up there in age, but he can still play a variety of infield positions, first and second base. Designated hitter as well. This time he does find himself in that DH spot, as Jubal Cabrera taking over the first base duties. And then you have Starlin Castro at second. Hello to everyone in the stream and in the comment section. Thank you for joining. Bases loaded for the Washington Nationals. 1 out and a 2-2 count to Howie Kendrick. That's a ground ball up the middle. Dave Peterson will deflect it with his foot, and he'll make the throw over to first for the second out. But as the play is made, Trey Turner comes across to score the run. So there you have it. A nice little play that we've seen that a lot so far in 2020. The pitcher deflects the ball, or someone deflects the ball. Looks like Peterson there gets it off of his right foot or right leg, keeps it in front of him, gets the ball in time to make the throw over and retire Howie Kendrick. So it's going to be a 1-3 put out Trey Turner will score, and it's a 1-0 ball game. The switch hitting is Jubal Cabrera, and he is taking over at first base today for the Washington Nationals. Will come up with 2 men in scoring position, runners on second and third. Adam Eaton leading off at third base and Starlin Castro at second. As Jubal has a 300 batting average through 50 at-bats with 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, and a 972 OPS. In his career, he's played for the Indians, the Tampa Bay Rays, the New York Mets, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Texas Rangers, and the Washington Nationals. Hopefully I didn't miss one, but here he skies one out to left field. Jeff McNeil, what a play to end it. And David Peterson kind of holds his glove up there. One play from Jeff McNeil, but he does seem to be a little taken back with that. Hopefully he is not injured. Ran into the wall, sitting on the warning track out in left center field. What a play defensively. But wow. Jeff McNeil, a super utility player, can play almost anywhere in the infield and in the outfield. Great play. He tracks the ball down, leaps, kind of runs into the wall. His front of the body hits the wall, and he faces himself on the ground. Now, we don't know if the trainer's going to come out. Hopefully, he is okay here. Jeff McNeil, a great defensive play. For the third out, it definitely saves 2 runs from the Nationals. But we'll see if he's okay here. A lot of highlights from the play. Jeff McNeil throws his glove into the ground. We'll see if he does potentially come up in the bottom of the first. He slotted third in the lineup. We got the trainer out there with him. He's got his left leg extended, and the trainer's going to help him up. I don't think he will be in the ballgame. Luis Rojas out there as well. And we will see what happens here. He's walking off himself, limping a little bit. It looks like the left leg is what's bothering him. The Mets defense has cleared the field, waiting to see if Jeff is okay. And yeah, it looks like he may be taken out of this ballgame. We'll have more updates there. But David Peterson does a good job of getting out of the inning. Mcneil is out of this one, sits back down on the outfield grass, and we go to commercial break here. So we'll just kind of recap this eventful top half of the first. Trey Turner gets on base with the leadoff walk. He'll end up scoring. Adam Eaton makes it to third on an error, a bunt error from Tomas Nido. He'll advance all the way to third, but will be stranded there. Starlin Castro with the walk will be stranded at second base. Juan Soto, huge opportunity, bases loaded, nobody out, strikes out looking. Howie Kendrick lines one back to David Peterson, the New York Mets starting pitcher this afternoon. He deflects it with his foot, makes the throw over, and retires the designated hitter as Jubal Cabrera with the line drive out to Jeff McNeil, who makes a fantastic catch, but looks like, unfortunately, at a big cost here. He will come out of this game injured, I would assume maybe day-to-day when he first comes out. So, gotta hope Jeff McNeil's okay. Great player for the New York Mets. 293 average to this point with 7 RBIs and 58 at-bats and a 720 OPS. We'll see who comes in to replace him here as we go to the bottom of first. So 1 run on no hits for the Washington Nationals. Let me just make sure. Yep, Trey Turner with the walk, Eaton with the error, Castro walk, strikeout, ground out, line out, and that'll do it. So David Peterson, not a bad start. This is his inaugural season here. Juan Soto on the field, making sure McNeil's okay. He's going to be carted off of Citi Field, and it looks like his time in this ball game is over very quickly. Again, hoping that Jeff is okay. Super utility player, a fun guy to watch for New York. And we will see who replaces him here for the New York Mets, both defensively and offensively. The lineup for the New York Mets this afternoon was supposed to be as follows. Brendan Nimmo starting in center field, leading it off. J.D. Davis, also red hot, starting at third base, batting second. Jeff McNeil would have batted third in left field. Michael Conforto batting cleanup out and right. Pete Alonso batting fifth, starting at first base. Dominic Smith, the left-handed designated hitter, batting sixth. Andres Jimenez, the shortstop, will bat seventh. Tomas Nido behind the plate, batting eighth. Luis Guillerme batting ninth, doing the second base duties this afternoon for New York. So we'll see here if we have a substitution for New York. A scary play there. Great defensive play, but definitely a little scary on Jeff Mcneill's behalf. Flew right into the wall. Kind of took a weird fall. And we're going to head into the bottom of the first. The score is 1-0 Washington. And so far, I am unaware of the replacement for Jeff. Peterson's ERA has changed a little bit. We'll see here how Austin Voth does, or Voth, once the bottom half of the first gets underway and he's throwing a few final warm-up pitches. Do we have a replacement? Nope, not quite yet still. And that run was actually unearned for David Peterson. That's an unearned run. So his ERA goes down 3.57 in regards to 3.78. The first pitch from Austin Voth, or both to Brandon Nimmo, is going to be 91 miles per hour, way inside. Kind of takes Brandon a few steps back there, backs him off the plate. Austin in 2 games this season is 0-1 with a 1.8 ERA, 10 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, and a .70 whip. The 6'2" right-handed pitcher sits at 210 pounds and is 28 years old. The second pitch to Nimmo is also going to miss down. He's 2-0. Now Brandon hitting 250 through 60 at-bats with a trio of home runs, 6 RBIs, 1 stolen base, and an .871 OPS. The 2-0 from the National starter is going to be a fastball on the outer third of the plate. Good pitch, strike one. It's going to be Nimmo and Davis, the first 2 batters of the ballgame for New York. And again, I'm trying to see here if the Mets have a replacement in the at-bat app, and currently that is not the case. Fastball is going to miss just down, good for a ball. Nimmo ahead of the count 3-1. Now, if he does walk here, that'll be the same way that the Washington Nationals started off. Looks like Billy Hamilton will come in for Jeff McNeil and be the offensive and defensive replacement. Brandon Nimmo lines this one out to right center field. It's going to get down at the warning track. Adam Eaton cuts it off, but not in time. Brandon Nimmo will have himself a leadoff double. And just like that, the Mets have themselves a runner in scoring position. And that is definitely a mistake pitch. Austin Voth belt high, leaves it right over the heart of the plate. Nimmo gets a lot of that ball. And Adam Eaton, the right fielder, does a good job cutting it off, but has to turn around before he makes the throw in. And that'll allow the speedy Nimmo to get into second easily. So Billy Hamilton was initially picked up by the New York Mets the same day as Yoenis Cespedes opting out of the 2020 season. He's a switch hitter and will bat, it looks like just in place for Jeff McNeil. No other replacements or changes in the lineup. So Hamilton just goes directly into the 3 spot and will be in left field. A big swing and a miss from J.D. Davis for strike 1. Brandon Nimmo on second base. And now J.D. Davis, 60 at-bats, a 300 average, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, and an .861 OPS. We've seen a lot of teams in Major League Baseball spot some of their better hitters in that number 2 spot, giving them more at-bats and more opportunities to change the course of the game. A curveball up and in, very good pitch. J.D. Davis waves and misses. He's going to be down 0-2. So yeah, much like the New York Yankees, they usually have Aaron Judge batting second when he's healthy. Hopefully he comes back soon. Lower body tightness At the moment, he was out of the game yesterday for New York against the Braves. But we've seen the same thing with J.D. Davis and the New York Mets. He's batting second, and then you have Michael Conforto batting cleanup. The fastball inside, just off the black, deemed a ball. The count's going to be 1-2 now. Billy Hamilton, the switch hitter, will go ahead and be standing in the on-deck circle. Nimmo on second. Davis at the plate, down 1-2. Voth attended Washington College and debuted on July 14th, 2018. And he's going to ring him up looking, a changeup down and in. Good spot. J.D. Davis will go down on strikes. That's a backwards K in the scorebook. 1 out and 1 runner on in scoring position for the New York Mets. If we take a look at the Washington Nationals defense here from left to right in the outfield, Juan Soto, Michael A. Taylor, and Adam Eaton. Joel Cabrera, the switch hitting batter, will start at first base. Starlin Castro at second. Trey Turner at short. And Carter Keema at third. Austin Voth on the mound. Jan Gomes behind the plate. And Howie Kendrick, the DH. Billy Hamilton steps in here batting left-handed with the righty Austin Voth on the mound. And he attempts to put a bunt down. This one will get fouled. He'll find himself down in the count 0-1 to start the AB. Now Voth has thrown 10 pitches, given up a hit, and struck out 1 batter to this point. The Nationals lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. Now, Billy Hamilton this season is 0 for 12. So looking to get his first hit of the ball game. And assuming he does get a hit, it would potentially be an RBI as well. It could tie the game. Both Brandon Nimmo and Billy Hamilton are pretty good on their feet. Carter Keema playing in on the third base grass, or on the infield grass. That'll be a outside curveball. The backdoor pitch, and it's going to be a called strike. 0-2 now to the Jeff Mcneil replacement for this ball game. The 0-2 delivery from Austin. It's going to be put into play by Billy Hamilton, foul, and out of play. The count will remain 0-2. Now, in a career 15 games for Voth, he has a 3-3 record, owning a 3.68 ERA in 66 innings, with 62 strikeouts and a 1.08 whip. Now, he was a 5th round overall 166 pick in the 2013 amateur draft selected by the Washington Nationals. He has come up in their organization and made his debut on July 14th, 2018, as I mentioned earlier. So just about 2 years of experience in Major League Baseball, 2.5 years. Billy Hamilton will take the ball just outside, down and away. Count's going to be 1-2. Again, Nimmo stands off second base. Michael Conforto, the cleanup batter, in the on-deck circle. And Conforto, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs to this point in the season. The 1-2 from the righty. A curveball down in the dirt. Billy Hamilton checks the swing, but will hold up. The count's going to be even 2 balls, 2 strikes. A tempting pitch there, bounces right in front of the dirt. Billy Hamilton thought about it, does not go around. Of course, that is the best move for him there, as it'll be 2-2. With 1 man out and 1 man on base. The Washington Nationals, being the reigning World Series champions, currently find themselves 3rd in the NL East division behind the Miami Marlins, who are currently the division title leaders. And then the Atlanta Braves, who have recently not been doing too well. Hamilton's going to foul this one back. The at-bat will continue. We look at the pitching matchup here. Very young guys. Austin Voth, 28 years old, with about, like I said, 2 years of Major League Baseball experience. David Peterson making his debut in the shortened 60-game year. He's just 24 years old for the New York Mets. And he allowed 1 run in the first. It was unearned, though. His ERA is not affected. Billy Hamilton, a curveball. He takes down the first base line, but foul. And again, the count will remain at 2-2. So a long at bat here. Of course, the switch hitting Billy Hamilton looks to see a mistake pitch from the 20 right-handed pitch from New York and tie this one up here. Now, David Peterson avoided what could have been a very dangerous half of the first. He does allow one run, but it could have been a lot worse. Bases loaded to one of the most young, hot hitters in Juan Soto, and gets him to strike out looking, which is huge. Billy Hamilton, another foul ball. Austin Voth at almost 20 pitches in the home half of the first year. He started 12 games. Austin has in 15 appearances. He's come out of the bullpen just 3 of those times. Conforto, a fastball in on the black, and it's going to be a ball. So a full count now to Billy Hamilton. What an at-bat this has been. We have seen Billy Hamilton really keep himself alive here, fouling off a lot of pitches, staying in the count here. And Jeff McNeil, if he would have hit, if he didn't come out of the game, had 58 at-bats, hitting 293 with 7 RBIs and a 720 OPS. Great contact hitter. Hamilton going to foul back another one here. So a very long at-bat to the switch-hitting left fielder, Carlos Torres, calling balls and strikes behind the plate this afternoon. And again, it's going to be a full count delivery here from Austin Voth. I don't know if I'm saying his last name correctly. I do apologize. Voth, both. The 3-2. Fastball up, belt high. Hamilton gets another piece of it and again fouls this one back. This is a really good at-bat here, piece by piece. 11 total pitches this at-bat, 7 foul balls. So a good job from Billy Hamilton, really keeping himself alive here. Really hoping to get a piece of maybe a mistake pitch or draw a walk, get runners on first and second for Michael Conforto, the cleanup batter. Give him a nice opportunity to bring in a few runs here in the first and maybe give the Mets the lead. Hamilton going to line it to center field. Michael Taylor will be there. And the long at-bat ends. Austin Voth comes up with the upper hand. It's a line out to center. 2 outs. Runner on second for Michael Conforto. That's a good pitch down the middle. Billy Hamilton does a good job of squaring up the ball. Just unfortunately does not find the outfield grass. So Nimmo's still standing on second. Michael Conforto up now. In 68 at-bats, he's hitting .324 with a trio of home runs, 11 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and a .940 OPS. He's 4 for 10 this series against the Washington Nationals with 3 RBIs. And we'll see what he can do here. He's only 27 years old. He was a first-round draft pick, 10th overall by the New York Mets back in the 2014 amateur draft, and swings at the first pitch. Strike 1. Fastball's coming in right around 92, 93 miles per hour for the Nationals' right-handed starter. You got a slight shift on the lefty Conforto. Trey Turner, the only infielder on the left side of the diamond. He's sitting right about where the middle of the third base and shortstop players would be. Everyone else is on the right side. Now, shortstop Trey Turner's behind the second base bag. Starlin Castro shaded a little closer to first than he would usually be at second, and Asdrubal Cabrera playing back a little bit. Now on deck is Pete Alonso, the righty first baseman. Has now the record for most home runs in a rookie season with 53. Beat Aaron Judge's 52 from back in 2017. Hello to everyone in the chat and currently on the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you guys taking out of your time to be here today. The Nationals currently lead the Mets 1-0 in the bottom of the first, and a wild pitch will allow Brandon Nimmo to be just 90 feet away from scoring a run here in the first inning. That looked like it would be a curveball. It got the thigh of catcher Yan Gomes and bounced back to the backstop. He was not able to get to it in time, and Brandon Nimmo easily advances to third base. Now it's a 1-2 count to Michael Conforto. And opponents are just 2 for 32 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position against Austin Voth in his career. That's a .063 batting average. So Conforto here, looking to at least tie this game up. He's going to get a changeup outside. He'll lift it out to left field, but on the warning track is Juan Soto. He camps under it, and the play will be made, so a fly out to left. That'll end the inning. No runs on one hit for the New York Mets. And we'll head to the top of the second. So about a 30-minute first inning. We saw a handful of Washington Nationals batters, of runs scored for the visiting Washington team, and then Jeff Mcneil unfortunately coming out very early on in this game with an apparent injury. Now, I don't know what his status is just yet. If I do find that out, I will reveal that to you guys here on stream. But he really collided with the wall, took a fall to the warning track, and it looked like it was maybe something with his left leg. He had it extended the entirety of the time he was sitting in the outfields. The trainer was out there, Luis Rojas, as well for the New York Mets, and hopefully it's nothing serious. Jeff Mcneill is a big part of that Mets lineup. As we go to the top of the second, Carter Kieboom, Yan Gomes, and Michael A. Taylor will all find themselves due up the bottom third of the Washington Nationals lineup. Now, Carter Kieboom starting at third base this afternoon, Yan Gomes behind the plate, and Michael A. Taylor out in center field. Victor Robles has been very good to this point in the season, so has Michael Taylor, and they seem to be kind of exchanging on and off days, so when one's in, the other is not. Of course, previously, when Juan Soto was still out with COVID-19, and he was not allowed to play just yet and in self-quarantine, I think there was a point where we actually saw both Taylor and Robles in the same lineup. That's not the case today. With Juan Soto back, when you have a guy like him who can both field very well and hit the ball extremely hard, you're going to allow your young Juan Soto star slugger to get as many opportunities in. And we'll take a look at the New York Mets defense for this afternoon. In the outfield now, Billy Hamilton, Brandon Nimmo, and Michael Conforto from left to right. J.D. Davis at third, Andres Jimenez starting at shortstop. The other middle infield is Luis Guillerme, Pete Alonso at first, Tomas Nido behind the plate, David Peterson on the mound, and your designated hitter is the left-handed Dominic Smith. The first pitch to Carter Keema is a ball, and Peterson took a little bit off that one there. 81-mile-per-hour changeup, seemingly down and away, good for called strike one. The count's going to be 1-1. And to this point in the season, Carter Keema has had 21 at-bats, hitting .286. Looking for his first home run of the season with 1 RBI, no stolen bases, and a .709 OPS. That's on base plus slugging. The Bat Boys can run out a few baseballs to Carlos Torres, the home plate umpire, and it's 2-1 now to the third baseman. Offers and misses at a changeup down and in the dirt. 2-2 count in the top of the second here, the Washington Nationals hot corner position player. Carter Kieboom, Yan Gomes, and Michael A. Taylor are all due up. Now, Carter Keema was a first-round draft pick in 2016, so just 4 years ago. He was a 20th overall selection, and he was chosen by the Washington Nationals, came up in their organization, and up until the point where he made his debut, was a highly regarded prospect for the Nationals organization. The full count here to Carter, and he's going to put this one in play. Out to right field, there's Michael Conforto, and he will make the play easily. So fly out to right, and that is the first out of the top of the second here. Let him bring up the backstop, Yan Gomes. In 15 at-bats, hitting .133 with no home runs, 2 RBIs, no stolen bases, and a .411 OPS. So, of course, he's looking for his first knock of the season. And we're probably not going to see him swipe any bags, so the 0 stolen bases will probably continue to be that way for the remainder, of 2020. He'll step into the batter's box here facing the southpaw David Peterson, standing at 6'6", 240-pound, 24-year-old will get him to pop up the first pitch he sees. Shallow right field grabs. Michael Conforto will make the play again. So another fly out here, back-to-back flyouts out to right. And it looks like there may be an update on Jeff Mcneil, so I'll go ahead and see if I can find out what is happening with him here. The first pitch to Michael Taylor is going to be down in the dirt, ball one. I'm trying to see what Jeff McNeil's injury is, if they have said anything. No, okay, so there are no specific reasonings to why he's out. I mean, of course, we know he's out because of the injury, but we don't know to what extent his injury may be. So he is currently out of the ballgame. I'm assuming day to day. There is nothing revealed just yet of how long he will be out for, what his expected time is to return. Michael Taylor will put one behind the second base bag, a grounder. It looked like Luis Guillerme was behind second base with the slight shift, and it's going to be a ground out. That will end the inning. So a 4-3 put out there, and a 1-2-3 inning for the Mets southpaw starter. Very nice. Actually, he does give up one run in the first, again unearned, so his ERA did get lower with that. But he's faced the first 6 batters in the Nationals line for the first. In the second, he comes out here, gets 2 fly balls out to right field, and induces a ground ball to end the inning. No runs on no hits. The score is going to remain 1-0 as we go to the home half of the second. Pete Alonso, Dominic Smith, and Andres Gimenez will all be due up. Now, when we look at left fielders that could potentially replace Jeff Mcneill, assuming he is maybe out for a few games at least per se, you have J.D. Davis, Dominic Smith. You could put Billy Hamilton back out there. So there are some options for the New York Mets to go ahead and fill that role. J.D. Davis can play the infield and outfield. Of course, we see him starting at third base today, batting second. And then Dominic Smith is actually not a position player today. He is a designated hitter. The Mets are filling that universal DH spot with the left-handed bat of Smith, and he's batting sixth. We'll see him come up in this inning. And then, there's a lot of different possibilities here for the lineup. We've seen numerous changes to the lineup so far this season, like the New York Yankees. Luis Rojas and Aaron Boone have experimented heavily with their 1-9 lineup, I do believe. We've seen different formalities, different ways to kind of craft the batting order in these first 18 to 20 games of the season per team, depending. So, again, just taking you through the NL East. This is a big game for the New York Mets because if they do win this against the division rival, they can sneak themselves into third place and just be a few games back of the Braves and the Marlins. So the big question in the division is, will the Marlins continue to get off to the hot start that they have been in the first 11, 12 games? They're currently 8-4, a .667 win percentage. They find themselves atop the division. Will it stay that way? They have a very young team, and they were plagued by a lot of positive COVID-19 tests early on in the season, missed about a week and a half of playing time. Of course, that led to the Phillies not being able to play for a little bit, and now the Cardinals are another team that find themselves in that same position as Miami. They're out with a lot of positive tests, and they have been missing about 2 weeks of baseball as well. So Pete Alonso now, it's going to be 0-2 as he fouls one, and that'll be a grounder down the first base line. Again, foul, so not in play. 0-2 to Pete Alonso. 70 at-bats this season, hitting .229 with 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, and a .757 OPS. Not continuing the hot start he had to his career back in his rookie campaign last season. Of course, 53 home runs in about 162 game span, give or take, because he probably missed a few games. But this series, he's 4 for 9 with 1 home run and 4 RBIs. So he's kind of starting to heat up a little bit here. The .229 average is still a little bit low, but we'll see if he can get something here to lead off the bottom of the second. The 1-2 to Polar Bear Pete. And that'll be a fastball inside. Counts even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now, I was watching a game on SNY, maybe I'd say about a week ago, and he's changed his stance a little bit. Like, his loadout has significantly changed just a tad, where he moves his bat location from last season to this season, and that could be part of the reason why he has not had the success of what we've seen from him in 2019. Now, the backdoor curveball is going to be fouled back and out of play. The count remained with 2 balls, 2 strikes in the bottom of the second. Dominic Smith, the left-handed designated hitter, in the batter's circle. So Alonso, Smith, Jimenez all due up. Now we're going to watch out for Andres. He has had a really nice start to his career. He debuted earlier on this season, July 24th, 2020. So that actually might have been opening day for the New York Mets. I believe that was that Friday. And Alonso going to get on top of one here. He'll ground it over to Trey Turner, field it cleanly, and he'll make the throw over to first. So that'll be the first out of the bottom of the second. 6-3 grounder. Hello to everyone in the stream. Thank you for coming out here and joining me as we cover the Washington Nationals and the New York Mets live. Washington leads currently by a score of 1-0 in the bottom of the second. With one away, Dominic Smith will come up to the plate. In 37 at-bats, he's hitting .243, also with 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, and a .942 OPS. Now, he debuted on August 11th, 2017, so almost 3 years ago to this day, and that debut did come in a New York Mets uniform. He's going to take a curveball down and away for ball 1, and his at-bat is underway. So he's got the mask on at his chin. And, of course, assuming he gets on base here, that will go up to his face so he can be respectful of Jubal Cabrera, standing on first, the first place umpire. And assuming he gets a little further on base, Castro, Turner, maybe even Carter Keema. Now, we have seen a handful of players hit with masks, play with masks. And, of course, the first basemen are a little more susceptible to that. We have seen a lot of first basemen defensively wearing masks when they're on the field, because when runners come up, you want to make sure that you're respectful for them and yourselves. And Dominic Smith will lift a 2-0 count to center field for a solo home run. That is his 4th of the season, his 12th RBI, and that .243 average just went up. The lefty found himself in the order today via the designated hitter spot. We're going to raise the apple here, and this game is tied at 1 run apiece. A 104.4 mile per hour exit velo. Dom Smith gets the scoring going for the New York Mets. It's a solo home run. There you have it. It's going to be the first run Austin Voth gives up of the game. His second hit he allows. And the comment says, the Mets surprisingly dismantled the Nats last night. Yes, they went off. I think they had 3 home runs in the game. Don't get me wrong, but I believe they played into 11 runs, 1-1. That's crazy. They're off to a nice little go here. They scored their first run via a Dom Smith solo shot. Right onto the Minute Maid ad that covers up a bunch of sections out there in just about left center field. So a great hit there from Dom Smith. Andres Gimenez is going to get himself to a 1-0 count. And the pitch he sees he'll put in play, it's a mere pop out to Carter Keema over there at third base on the infield grass. So 2 outs now, but Dom Smith with the solo home run. Very nice. This game is now tied in the bottom of the second. So as I was saying, as Tomas Nido comes up here, 13 at-bats this season, so a small sample size, but he's just hitting .308 with no home runs, no RBIs, no stolen bases, and a .785 OPS. The Puerto Rico native looks to go ahead and see if he can continue to get a hit for the New York Mets, maybe spark a 2-out rally. The first pitch he sees is the fastball slightly down at the knees for ball 1. So we're seeing a lot of players wear masks, be respectful of the players around them. And Clint Frazier of the New York Yankees, who made his 2020 debut yesterday, was a triple shy in his debut. A home run in his initial at-bat, which, by the way, was amazing. He is wearing the mask at all times, and I think that's awesome. That kind of sends a nice little message here to fans, other players, just everyone watching the game. If Major League Baseball players can play the game they love, entertain millions of fans, and wear a mask, I think, that definitely says something that fans and people all over can wear masks when they go outside to the park or the grocery store. Wear a mask, keep yourself safe, keep each other safe. So there we have it. With that, it is now a 1-1 ball game. Thanks to the Dominic Smith solo home run. Tomas Nido in a 1-2 count with 2 away in the bottom of the second. Austin with his 40th pitch of the game. A curveball down and away. Tomas gets a piece of it there, and he'll ground it over to second baseman Starlin Castro. The play will be made, so it's a 4-3 ground out to end it here. But not before the New York Mets tie it up on the 1-run home run from Dominic Smith. 1 run on 1 hit. This game is tied. We'll go to the visiting half of the third inning, where we will see the top of the order come up for the Washington Nationals. Trey Turner, Adam Eaton, and Starlin Castro. Now, all three of those guys are hitless, but all three have also reached base. Turner worked a walk in the first. Eaton reached on a bunt error. The throw from Mcneill was wide of the glove of Andres Jimenez, so that got into the outfield. That allowed Turner to get to third and Adam Eaton to second. Starlin Castro then walked. And that is your summary for the first three batters of the ballgame for the Washington Nationals, again, who are all due up in the top of the third. Do I like the Cubs? Yeah, I mean, I don't root against them, and I'm excited they have a really good team this year. Now, I wasn't sure how they were going to perform, but their bats have been stellar. Really good looking, solid in the National League Central, and I think they'll definitely find themselves a postseason spot, whether they maintain the division title lead or if they're a second-place team. I think they will get there, maybe even the wild card spot. If they're a third place, for whatever reason, if something does happen and they fall back in the division a little bit. But they have a really strong team, and you have guys like Wilson Contreras, Javi Baez, Chris Ryan, Anthony Rizzo, who you think should perform. And, just with health injuries and stuff in the past and streaks, they haven't always been hot at the same time. But that Cubs lineup is really molding together, doing well. And I think it's going to be really nice to kind of see them excel and maybe go far in the postseason. I'm definitely not rooting for or against them. I like that team. No, I do. I am a fan of the Cubs. I am. But with a lot of talented NL teams this year, it's hard to just pick one to root for. I like the Cubs. Yes, that will answer the question there. So there we go. We are heading to the top of the third. Nationals visiting Citi Field out in Flushing, New York, taking on the New York Mets. This game is tied at 1 run apiece. 1 run on no hits, no errors for the Washington Nationals. The Mets, 1 run on 2 hits and 1 error. The curveball from David Peterson is going to miss up and away, so it's going to be ball 1 to Trey Turner, who walked and scored back in the initial frame of this ballgame. The 1-0 count here is going to advance to 2-0, the changeup, or the 89-mile-per-hour pitch is going to miss down. 2-0 to Trey Turner. Now, Trey is a very talented player. He can swing the bat well. He's got good speed. He's got good defense over there as well. He flashes the leather quite a bit, can make some very talented plays, and it is raining in New York, so hopefully there is no rain delay, or this game does not get temporarily postponed. Trey Turner going to swing and miss at the first strike there, and now this one he'll put into play. Pete Alonso in foul territory will camp under and make the catch, so it's a pop out to first baseman Pete Alonso in foul grounds, and that will be the first out of the inning. So here in 2 completed innings, if this game does get postponed and later called from this point, this is not a complete game. This is not going into the scorebooks as a finalized game. And of course, with a tie, it can't anyway. So hopefully the rain holds out here, and Adam Eaton will step into the batter's box. The backdoor curveball coming in at 81 miles per hour is a called strike, and Adam Eaton again bunted, and with the error from Mcneill was allowed to get to second, and then later advanced to third, was stranded there, and now a fastball down to the dirt. Counts even a 1 ball, 1 strike coming into tonight, or this afternoon rather. Adam Eaton has 52 at-bats, hitting .212 with 1 home run, 3 RBIs, 1 solo base, and a .595 OPS. I'm so used to streaming night games with the New York Yankees that, an afternoon game here, 1:05, 1:10 start time, is the first for me this season, and also the first time I'm going live talking about the New York Mets. Now, Eaton's going to lift that one out to right field, and Michael Conforto, for the 3rd time this game, will find himself making the play. So 2 outs here. And, if you're the New York Mets and you're Luis Rojas, you have to be very impressed with what David Peterson has been doing so far. He's looking good. He's held the Nationals, who have a strong lineup, from 1 to 9, really, to only 1 run. It was an unearned run. Who's to say that if the error wasn't made, they'd even have a run scored to this point? Now, fastball down and away, just at the knees, is going to be outside for a called ball. Carlos Torres again calling ball and strikes behind the plate this afternoon for the Washington Nationals and New York Mets matchup. Castro going to ground this one over the third base. J.D. Davis will field it cleanly and make the throw in time. So it is a 5-3 putout, and that'll end the inning. Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for the southpaw starter for New York. No runs on no hits. And it's a quick 1-2-3 here in the top of the third. We'll head now to the home half of this inning. Luis Guillerme, Brandon Nimmo, J.D. Davis, all due up. So let's actually take a moment here. Luis Guillerme starting at second base for the New York Mets today. In 12 at-bats, he's hitting .333 with no home runs, 2 RBIs, 1 stolen base, and an .817 OPS. Now, he made his pitching debut on August 10th, 2020, 3 days ago. Yes, you heard me right. Pitching debut. Now, he's a middle infielder. He's got really good hands. He's known for the glove. He can make good leather work over there at the positions he's put at middle infield, shortstop, and second base. Now, here's the situation. It's the 9th inning, and the Nationals are ahead of the Mets by a score of 16-3 in the away half of the 9th. The Nationals are hitting, and the Mets are down 13 runs. So you're not going to waste a bullpen arm here when you still have multiple games against the Nationals in the set. You still want to save some arms for maybe games you're still in. In the bottom of the 9th inning, you don't expect to score 13 runs within 3 outs. So they bring in a position player here, and they choose to go to Luis Guillerme. He makes his pitching debut, and it was a perfect 1-2-3 inning against the Nationals offense. Now, I don't believe he really got anywhere past 68 miles per hour, but he had a nice little rhythm going there. I mean, it's simply, if we were to go out there and pitch on the mound, I think, I was watching the John Boy breakdown. He says this. I'm going to replicate this here, but yeah, really, anyone can kind of go ahead and mimic what Luis Guillerme did. It's just simply, not a pitcher, no pitching experience, going out there on the mound, trying his best, gets a 1-2-3 inning, and it worked out really well for him. The Nationals don't score any runs, and now the Mets did go ahead and put up 1 run in the bottom of the 9th, so the final score was 16-4, and that was one of the 2 wins that the Washington Nationals had so far in the series. So the rain's coming down. We're seeing Mr. Met out there, under a canopy, making an appearance for the home team. And Guillerme now is going to come in to hit. The first pitch he sees is a backdoor curveball down and away, 78 miles per hour, Austin Voth, and that is going to be a ball. Now, this series, Luis Guillerme is 3 for 5 with 1 RBI. And a small sample size. Only 12 at-bats coming into today. But a .333 average. That's going to be a ball as well. 2-0 count now to him. And this game is tied. We go to the bottom of the third here. It's 1 run apiece for the Washington Nationals and division rival New York Mets. We're in Flushing, New York at Citi Field. And Guillerme going to take a ball down and in out to center field. It's going to be a grounder out to Michael A. Taylor. And he'll have himself a leadoff single. And that is the 3rd hit of the ball game for the New York Mets lineup. So we're going to turn things over now to Brandon Nimmo, the leadoff batter. This afternoon, it's going to be Nimmo and Davis who find themselves up as well as this 3rd inning continues. So Brandon Nimmo, very early on in his first at-bat, he led things off for the New York Mets in the bottom of the 1st offensively with a double. Now, he advanced to 3rd base on a wild pitch. J.D. Davis struck out, Billy Hamilton lined out, and Michael Conforto flew out. He was not able to score, rather. So stranded just 90 feet away, the Mets left a runner on in scoring position. And a fastball here, up and in. It looked to be a good pitch, but deemed a ball, so he's going to be ahead 1-0. And we see here a little demographic on the scene. Brandon Nimmo's working on going against the shift a little bit more. Last year, a lot of teams went ahead and applied a defensive change to their infield with Brandon Nimmo. He likes to pull the ball a lot. And of course, that's pretty normal for Major League Baseball hitters. A lot of the time, you do pull the ball down the side where you hit. So Nimmo, being a left-handed hitter, typically will send the ball down, to the right side of the infield. So in this case now, we have Carter Keema, the 3rd baseman for the Washington Nationals, really playing in between 3rd and shortstop, where those 2 position players would be. And then you have Trey Turner behind second, maybe shifted over a little bit closer to first base. Starlin Castro at second base, playing pretty much his normal position. And then Asdrubal Cabrera is there as well on the right side of the infield. Now, a 2-0 curveball is going to be good for a called strike, and it's a 2-1 count to the leadoff batter and center fielder for the New York Mets. So, if we look at the Mets lineup today, multiple first-round draft picks in Brandon Nimmo, Michael Conforto, and Dom Smith. You also have David Peterson, your starting pitcher, who has done very well. He is a former first-rounder. He was selected 20th overall in the 2017 draft, chosen by the New York Mets. Now, if we look at Nimmo, he was a first-round 13 overall pick in 2011, again, by the New York Mets. Conforto, same thing, first-round 10th pick in 2014 by New York. And Dominic Smith was a first-rounder as well. So multiple guys who went very early on in their given draft class. And the 2-1 here from the Washington righty takes some off of it there. Nimmo going to pop it up in foul territory. He gets jammed a little bit as Asdrubal Cabrera, the first baseman, will go ahead and make the catch. So I'll pop it up to third, out in foul grounds, and Guillerme will be stranded at first, still one away. J.D. Davis went down looking back in the first inning, and I don't think he was too happy with the call. It was a good pitch. So he went down after a long at-bat, seeing if he can maybe get something going for the New York Mets. If you have a runner on, the leadoff hit from Luis Guillerme, which advances his average up to a little higher than 333 now. He is 4 for 13 this season. And J.D. Davis coming into this one was hitting 360 at-bats. 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, and an 861 OPS. The first pitch to him here is a called strike, up and in. So we'll see how he does against Both, who is a 5th-round draft pick and selected 166th overall in 2013 against the Washington Nationals. And that's a fastball that runs up and in. It hits J.D. Davis either like right here on the right above the elbow or the forearm. He's going to wear it either way. And that'll be a hit by pitch. He'll advance to first. And Guillerme will go over into scoring position for Billy Hamilton. Now, of course, if you weren't with us, back in the first inning of this ballgame, Jeff McNeil made a spectacular defensive play in left field. Unfortunately, hit the wall pretty hard and took a fall. Looks like something with his leg, and he was carted off the field shortly thereafter. Billy Hamilton was his offensive and defensive replacement. So he's batting third, out in left field now for Jeff McNeil. And he had a long at-bat in the first inning. He ended up lining out to center field, so he lost the battle, but put together a lengthy first appearance here. And now he's going to foul this one back, and the count will be 0-1. He finds himself behind early. Guillerme standing off a second, and J.D. Davis with a slight lead over at first. Now Carter Kieboom shaded over a little closer to second base and shortstop. He's on the infield grass. So the Mets and Nationals are tied through just about 2.5 innings here. Billy Hamilton going to send this one out to right field, but Adam Eaton will be there. He'll make the throw in, and Luis Guillerme will tag anyway. So a lineup from Billy Hamilton. That's the second hard hit ball for him of this game. Another line out. This one finds the of Adam Eaton this time instead. So a line out to right as opposed to a line out to center. But Guillerme will advance to third. So you got runners on the corners, 2 outs for Michael Conforto. Now Conforto flew out to left his first time around. That was back in the first inning. And, prior to this afternoon's ball game, he was hitting 324 and 68 at-bats with 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. His OPS sat at 940. And again, we have a shift over here with Kieboom on the left side of the infield being the only defensive player on the left side. The curveball going to miss outside, and it's going to be 1-0 now to Michael Conforto. He has a current 9-game hitting streak. And we'll see if he can get that going here. At the moment, it's only his second at bat in the third inning, but he is at risk of losing it. He did not get a hit in his first at bat. Conforto has been looking very good for the New York Mets, and one of the better hitters in the lineup. And that said lineup has struggled to score runs in certain games. But yesterday put up an 11th spot against the team that they're facing right now, the Washington Nationals. And then it's going to be 2-0 to Conforto. That one's going to miss down. On deck is Pete Alonso, who has kind of struggled a little bit. He started off the season doing a little bit better. I think he was hitting something in the general vicinity of the 300 range. And these past couple games, I think the last 10, 11 game span, I believe, if I read correctly the demographic before, he's hitting sub 200. So Alonso looking to find his groove and get back into this ball game. Really find his swing. Get a lot of hits, get some momentum. Once he picks up a couple runs and hits, I think he'll hopefully get back to it. Now, yesterday, he hit a nice home run, and Polar Repeat looked to kind of find himself in his original form. But only 3 home runs and 10 RBI so far for Pete Alonso in the first 19 games that I played. This is game number 20 on the season for the New York team. And it's a 3-0 to Michael Conforto. Does he have the green light here? We'll find out in a second. Fastball down the middle. And on the outer third of the plate, it's going to be called strike 3-1. So he does not get the green light from the third base coach. Anything closer, I think he's going to try to put in play and score some runs with. Guillerme at third. J.D. Davis at first. Guillerme had that leadoff single. And then J.D. Davis helped advance him to second as he got plunged by a pitch. Conforto takes a fastball just high, right above the belt. And that'll be deemed a ball 4 by Carlos Torres. That's the second walk of the inning for Austin Voth, the first on balls. And now Pete Alonso will step in, hitting 225, which has dropped a little bit from the first time we saw him, 747 OPS, and he grounded out to short the first time around. One of the very best baseball YouTube channels. Good to see you back, Nick. Thank you. Glad to have you back. Glad to have each and every one of you back currently on the stream joining me here. The New York Mets are pushing for something big. Bases loaded, 2 outs in a tied ball game. Bottom of the third, and Pete Alonso, this could be the at-bat he's looking for to get himself back into this season, kind of find his groove again, as we were just talking about. He's going to take a fastball good for the first strike, just inside. Owen Conforto at first. The 2 outs of the inning were Brandon Nimmo. He popped out to the first baseman as Joe Cabrera in foul territory. And then Billy Hamilton lined out to right fielder Adam Eaton. Pete Alonso fouls this one back. Now it's an 0-2 count, and Austin is reaching 60 pitches, nearing just about that number. As the next pitch here to Polar Bear Pete will be number 59 on the day. This is the righty's third appearance. And coming into today, he was 0-1 with a 1.8 ERA in 10 innings with 7 strikeouts and a .70 whip. This was his 13th start of his career. And the 79-mile-per-hour curve we're going to miss down and away. Alonso thinks about it, but checks his swing and holds up. Counts going to be 1-2 now. Pete Alonso, and he, of course, was the home run champion last year, both in the home run derby and in setting the rookie record for most home runs in a rookie campaign. He had 53. That beat out Aaron Judge's 52 from back in 2017. And is looking for his 4th home run of the season here. The 1-2 is a fastball outside, and that is not going to be a called strike. So the count evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at every base. The bases are juiced. 2 outs. In the bottom of the third, again, this game is tied. Washington 1, New York 1. We'll see if Polar Bear Pete can get something here. And the cameramen are zooming into his batting gloves, which are nice, sporting different colors. Blue, get the orange Nike sign, the Nike symbol, the swish, which you can also find on all Major League Baseball jerseys as well now as of this season. They are the sponsors of Major League Baseball uniforms. And a fastball missed just down. Uh-oh, we've got some back and forth here. And ejected out of the ball game. Home plate umpire Carlos Torres not happy with the call. or sorry, not happy with what's going on in the dugout, which I'll get to in a second. But first, what happens there is a fastball misses just down. When I say just down, it probably just skimmed the bottom of the strike zone. It was a called ball, so the count's going to be full to Pete Alonso, and bases loaded. Now you have the national skipper talking like, hey, what's going on now? Where did that miss? Of course, I can't see directly. I'm going to have to go back and replay that. I'm sure we'll get a John Boy breakdown on that play. But yeah, he keeps his mouth going. He's running his mouth. And Carlos Torres, behind home plate, the umpire does not like it. Throws him out of the ball game, and there you go. It's the first suspension I think I've ever called on YouTube. Off the top of my head, I don't remember if I've seen someone get ejected. Not suspension. That's the first time I think I've seen someone get ejected live covering the game. So some action here, some flurry of action. And it's full count, bases loaded, 2 outs. The Polar repeat when this game continues. So, all right, not happy there is the national skipper. Take a look back at the pitch here. It was at the knees. It was very close. It was very close. I mean, that's kind of something that you go back and forth. Other umpires will call other things. That would either be strike three, got him looking. But in this case, good take from Pete Alonso as the count advances to full. Now, Austin at risk of walking in the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the third. But, of course, you can't leave something over the heart of the plate because Pete Alonso can get every stitch of that ball and make it a 5-1 ball game, hit a grand slam here. So he's got to be careful with what he does. Probably an off-speed working the east to west portion of the plate, but we'll see what happens here. The pitch. Fastball down the same exact distance from home plate to the batter's box there. The same height to it. Just shifted over the heart of the plate. 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Alonso thinks it's ball forward, trying to take off the first. But Carlos Torres gets him looking and punches him out on strikes. So there's that. Back-to-back fastballs, pretty much in the same location. The first gets the national skipper rejected as it's called a ball. The second gets Pete Alonso called out on strikes. And there you have it. So no runs on one hit for the New York Mets, stranding 3 on base. And there you have it. The scores can remain tied, 1-1 going to the top of the fourth. Yeah, Alonso definitely has not been his 2019 self. The New York Mets are looking for that form of Alonso because if they had him, they would be a lot more competitive, in my opinion. I mean, off to a kind of slow start, 8-11, fourth in the division. If they do come away with this game and they win, they go ahead and take over the spot for the Nationals in the NL East. They'll advance to third. So with the extended postseason bracket this year, we see 8 teams from each league make it to the playoffs. You have your first and second place teams from every division, and then your top 2 third place teams, record-wise, will go ahead and advance as well. So really, all the Mets need to do for a postseason berth is secure at least the third spot in the NL East. But also, they need to have a good record. They're not just going to automatically get in because they are third. They need to make something happen. So we'll see. I mean, if they can go ahead and kind of fight up against the Miami Marlins, who are first, which is very shocking this year to this point, but they've only played in 12 games. You know, the Mets can kind of go ahead, beat the Nationals today, get third, and then have the Marlins fall back a bit. They can find themselves out in second in the division, and that'll give them a for sure spot in the postseason. But you need guys, like you said, like Pete Alonso, you need them to perform. And you need big bats to come out early here and really continue to hit the ball well, bring in runs. Like, that's a big situation right there. Bases loaded. We've seen now bases loaded twice, one for each team. The Nationals back in the first, and the Mets now in the bottom of the third, and really don't get much out of it. Juan Soto steps in for the Washington Nationals, and he's going to lead it off in the top half of the fourth inning here. He's 0 for 1. He struck out looking in the first. And the first pitch he sees is going to be a ball. So, yeah, Soto came up with the bases loaded, and he struck out. That was a huge retired batter from David Peterson, the Mets southpaw. Now it's going to be a fastball that runs inside, hits Soto on the back. Hit by pitch. He'll work a walk Now, that's not necessarily the guy you want to walk him to get. You don't want to pitch to him. But you almost kind of think, was that maybe retaliation, or did the fastball just miss? Now, of course, I don't want to go ahead and say, was it on purpose? But the home plate umpire, Carlos Torres, is calling everyone in like, hey, come in. So you got the entire umpiring chief, the crew, huddled together. Like, do you think that's intentional? Because if we look back in the bottom of the third inning, J.D. Davis got hit by a pitch. So you think maybe is that David Peterson protecting his players, protecting his teammates? That clearly runs inside, actually hits the back pocket of Juan Soto. And it looks like maybe a warning. Adam Eaton not happy with the call. Luis Rojas coming out like, hey, why? What's going on? So a lot of interesting action here. Bottom of the third, national skipper gets ejected. Now Luis Rojas isn't happy because the home plate umpire is saying that was intentional and it hits Juan Soto. Now it was a fastball coming inside, kind of looked deliberate. Now I don't want to jump out the conclusion and say that was definitely intentional because it's definitely not my stance and I don't really know what's happening here. But maybe you think that there's that idea running through your head. Maybe that was a form of retaliation, trying to kind of stick up for J.D. Davis, one of the hotter New York Mets hitters, who did get plunked just the last half of the inning. So the only problem with that is you now have a runner on first to lead off the inning in a game that's tied. And yes, Juan Soto, you don't want to pitch to him, so maybe you do get out of something there. And the breaking ball pitch outside is going to be a call strike to Howie Kendrick. So 0-1, Juan Soto at first, and we'll see what happens here. Howie Kendrick was huge for the Washington Nationals last year in the playoffs. His bat really came alive, and coming into tonight, or this afternoon rather, he was hitting 341. One home run and 3 RBIs and 825 OPS and 41 at bats. Now, he was actually a 10th round draft pick. I mean, look at what he's done recently. He's got a lot of talent. He's definitely developed a lot of players. He fouls this one back. 1-2 count now. But Kendrick is definitely very talented. He's the DH today for the Washington Nationals. Yeah, but a round 10 pick. Overall was the 294th selection in 2002 by the Los Angeles Angels. At that time, it was the Anaheim Angels. Now he finds himself over the Washington Nationals, won a World Series ring, and looking to try to go ahead and get the Nationals to lead here in this game with a runner on first. No outs. That fastball, 93 miles per hour, going to come up and in. Counts even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So both young starters have gone fairly far into this game without really allowing a whole lot. Austin Both, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but the right-handed National starting pitcher, standing at 6'2", has gone through 3 innings, only allowing 1 run, and that was Dominic Smith solo shot. Now Kendrick is going to fly out to right fielder. Conforto, sorry, his name slipped my mind for a second there, and that'll be the first out. So Juan Soto sticks back to first, and there's one away. But David Peterson also did a good job, 6'6". So 2 very tall starters on the mound today. The 24-year-old in his 4th game of the season. The 1 run that has come in on the National side was unearned on his behalf. So he's looking good as well. He's only allowed 0 hits, actually. He hasn't allowed a single hit yet. Just making sure to double check that here. Yeah, he's only worked walks with a few batters. Other than that, that's it. So here we are. Gilles Cabrera, the switch-hitting batter. First pitch he sees, he'll line out to center field, and what a play. So actually, Billy Hamilton is out in center, and it looks like they maybe moved Nimmo over to left. So that I was not aware of. Maybe if I was listening to the game, I would have heard that earlier on. So Hamilton is not in left field. Hamilton is actually playing in center. Of course, he came in as a replacement for Jeff McNeil. So it seems as though Brandon Nimmo slid over to left field. He was supposed to be the starting center fielder. But I think maybe he slid over to left, Hamilton in center. And what a play there. Potentially limited a run from coming in. So a line out to center from Asdrubal Cabrera. And that's only fitting, kind of, as Billy Hamilton himself has lined out to center and right in both of his 2 at-bats so far this game. So I was getting ready to say that Cabrera is a switch-hitting batter. And starting at first base today, he's going to hit right-handed against the southpaw David Peterson, but that kind of didn't have the chance as he swung at the first pitch he saw. Now Carter Kieboom going to take one at 80 miles per hour on the inner third of the plate for called strike one. And Carter hitting 273 now. He flew out to right field. Lots of flyouts to Michael Conforto. He's seen a lot of action out there in the field. A big swing and a miss from the third baseman. The count's 0-2. David Peterson has looked very strong. 52 pitches. And his best pitch, blasted to ice, is coming at 94. Same thing, actually, with his opposing pitcher, Austin Voth. Both. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. That's why I keep referring to him as Austin, because I'm afraid I'm mispronouncing or improperly pronouncing his last name there. And that one's going to miss up and away. 1-2 count. Yan Gomes, the right-handed catcher, is due up, assuming the third out is not retired, in the Washington Nationals third baseman here. So we'll see how things go. Time is called. 53 pitches only for David. And this is his inaugural season. He went to Oregon College, debuted back on July 28th, 2020, and is 24 years old. His birthday is September 3rd. And as I mentioned earlier, he's a first-round draft pick. He was selected 20th overall in 2017, so just 3 years ago, by the New York Mets organization, and has done well this season so far. A 3.78 ERA in 3 games, winning 2, dropping 1. But at least at the moment, there is a no decision in his favor. If the Mets offense can kind of jump ahead here and maintain a lead, he may, in fact, get that third win of the season and career. Change up, down, and away. Carter Kieboom swings and misses. That's a strikeout. And that is his second strikeout of the ball game. Back to back to back, 1, 2, 3 innings for the New York Mets starter. And there we go. We're going to go to the bottom of the fourth here. It's still a 1-1 ball game. And it'll be Dom Smith, Andres Jimenez, and Tomas Nido due up to see if they can maybe get a go-ahead run-in for the New York Mets here in the home half of the fourth inning. Juan Soto, definitely the guy to watch for in the Washington Nationals lineup. Missed a little while. They were saying actually at one point that maybe his COVID test was a false positive, which would suck if that was the case. I don't really remember reading too much more into it. I know that was something that was going around. People were speculating the idea. I'm not sure if that's confirmed or not as a false positive, but I know that that was a saying going around. But ever since he came back, he has been just on fire. Going in today, was hitting 423, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs. I have him on my fantasy team for Yahoo Fantasy Baseball, and he's really been helping me out recently. You know, he's definitely a young stud. Him, Ronald Acuna Jr., Luis Robert, Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean, so much young talent. It's amazing. Of course, so many other guys that I haven't named, but I pulled from that same list I used before when we talked about it. I mean, just it's a fun time to be a baseball fan right now. Yeah, Mike Trout still crushing it, doing really well. He's as of very recently 29 years old. Aaron Judge, before he got hurt, was off to a hot start with I think a league-leading 9 home runs. Nick Castellanos breaking out here. Like this is a fun season. 60 games. It does feel a little bit different and a lot more fast-paced, but it's fun to watch. Just kind of come out here and have the game on almost every day, some sort of game, whether it's on ESPN or SNY or yes, I'm always watching baseball and I love it. Multiple games a day, streaming, as much as possible. I think either live stream number 5 or 6 on the year. And of course, I aim to do a little bit more as the summer comes to a close and the season furthers itself. At the moment, as we're waiting for the bottom of the fourth to begin, Luis Rojas seems to be out with Carlos Torres, again, the home plate umpire for this afternoon. Just to kind of see, like, hey, where's your mind at? Why do you think that's intentional? You gave us a warning. What's going on, all that. So it's all good. The first pitch of Dom Smith is going to be down and away for ball 1. You have to maybe think there's a possibility Austin is not trying to pitch to the left-handed designated hitter today for the New York Mets, who already took him deep one time and is the only run for the New York Mets in the ball game. He fouls with some back. It's going to be 1-1 strike. But that solo home run that came back in the second inning off the bat of Dominic Smith was his 4th homer of the year and his 12th RBI. He's been looking really good. Now, he is another guy who could play left field, assuming Jeff McNeil does miss significant time because of his injury. Now, this one out to right center field, back at the wall, off the wall for a double. So Dominic Smith, 2 extra base hits in this ball game. He just missed getting every stitch of that baseball in his 2nd home run of the game. But it's a leadoff double here for the New York Mets designated hitter. That's a beautiful swing. Dom Smith really on fire. And you have to think, if he continues, he's either going to be the designated hitter or the starting left fielder. But he's going to find himself in this lineup every day. If this is what we're going to get production-wise out of him, this is awesome. I mean, for a while, we knew his offense was good. He just wasn't producing that. In previous years, just his bat wasn't really coming alive. But now, in this game, this season, he looks to be doing something really well. And he's locked in. Andres Mcneil will step in. And the backdoor off-speed pitch from his way outside, coming in at 79 miles per hour. It's going to be ball 1 to the shortstop who's making his debut this season. So this is his rookie campaign. And I had on my notes, this is a guy I want to watch out for because he was definitely looking really good throughout the first 2 games of the season. The Nationals matchup in this set, I think at one point he had a 333 average. Now, granted, kind of a small sample size, but 46 at-bats, previously before this game started. He's hitting 283 with no home runs, a pair of RBIs, and 4 stolen bases. That's huge. 704 OPS. Now, you have the occasional New York man who will swipe a bag. Other than Andres Mcneil, who leads the active team right now, so the 1-9 guys who are currently playing, he leads with stolen bases. That's 4 to this point. Then you have, let's see, Michael Conforto with 2 stolen bases. Brandon Nimmo has a swiped base as well, but that's really it. Luis Guillerme has 1 also, I'm sorry. But, we kind of lost that stolen base aspect here from a lot of teams because we don't always have that speedy guy. But someone like Billy Hamilton or now like Andres Mcneil, who is a well-rounded player and a young player, he can get a lot of stolen bases, and he will. We already see that. 4 stolen bases through under 50 at-bats. And now he's actually going to run out to second base there. Starlin Castro will make the play. But Dominic Smith will advance to third. So he gets the runner over just 90 feet away. It's a 4-3 ground out. And Tomas Nido has a chance to bring in an RBI, who is, again, Dominic Smith, 90 feet away from scoring. The Mets have left a significant amount of runners in the scoring position so far in this game on base when ending inning. That's been a big problem for them this year. They had the bases loaded for Pete Alonso. He struck out looking, and that ended the inning just last time up. But you have to take advantage of these opportunities in these scenarios, especially in a tied ball game. You need to go ahead and get a hit. Have some clutch batters come in and step in. Even if it's just a sac fly here, fastball's going to miss just outside, but it's up and away. Count is 1-1. You need to get a hit. Now, if you're Tomas Nido, who's hitting 308 going into day 13 at-bats with no RBIs, this is his first run batted into the season. If he can bring Dominic Smith across the plate. I don't know why I can't pronounce his name. 2-1. This one's going to miss outside. Yeah, this is a big at-bat here because you don't want to necessarily get an out without bringing in the run, but you do have Luis Guillerme, who bats 9th and hits the ball well this season. He's 4 for 13, and he has 2 RBIs and a stolen base and 817 OPS. He had a single back in the 3rd, and like a couple of guys, he was stranded at 3rd base when the inning ended. That was just last at-bat. Tomas Nido lifts this one to left center field, and we will not strand runners on base this time around. Tomas Nido, a 2-run home run to left field. It is now a 3-1 ball game. There you have it. Raise the apple for the 2nd time this ball game. Dominic Smith hits a solo shot in the 2nd, leads off the bottom of the 4th with a double, and now Tomas Nido with his first knock of the year and his first 2 RBIs of the 2020 season. Look at that. 3-1, huge hits. The Mets still got to celebrating. Everyone's jumping up with their hands in the air. That is what I was just saying. You need to get a hit here or some sort of way to at least bring Dom Smith in. but Tomas Nido takes a breaking ball that was right over the heart of the plate, getting down, and he takes it to left field, and he gets every inch of that baseball. It's a 3-1 ball game. The first pitch to Guillerme is a called strike, but that's huge. That is a huge hit there from Tomas Nido. Just great at bat, great mentality going into it there, and he does get every inch of it, every stitch of it rather. It's 3-1 in the New York Mets' favor, and Luis Guillerme now with another hit. This one he's going to send to left center field over the glove. I think it was the jumping third baseman, Keema, or Trey Turner. I got a bad angle of it there, but a left-sided infielder tried to jump for it. We'll see if maybe we get a replay. I think this is the Tomas Nido home run. Yeah, but Guillerme just sends one over the head of the defender out in the left side of the diamond. And that's his second hit of the ball game, his second single of the ball game, and he's been really good. He made his pitching debut the other day, and now he's 2 for 2 today. The average is pretty high, and he's definitely a guy. If you get production at the bottom of the order, that's exactly what you're looking for. You have someone that you can go to. And now for Brandon Nimmo, you have another opportunity here to maybe get a run in, 1 runner on and 1 out. Maybe get some sort of rally going. This one's fouled back into the glove of Yan Gomes. He drops it. So it's strike 1 for Brandon Nimmo. He doubled back in the first to lead off the ballgame offensively with the New York Mets. He was also stranded at third base, did not score. And then he popped up to first baseman Jules Cabrera, his last time up in the third inning, which was last inning, and that was in foul territory. So Brandon Nimmo is up with 1 out and 1 runner on first. Luis Guillerme, 2 singles to his name today. There is that shift. We talked about it previously. Brandon Nimmo now only has 1 defender on the left side of the diamond. That's Trey Turner. I think I might have said Trey Turner was behind second the last few times, but no, Trey Turner is the shortstop. He's the only one on the left side of the infield. Carter Keeboom's actually a couple feet to the left of the second base bag, closer to first base. He's typically third baseman. And you have the 3 defensive players on the right side, because Nimmo is going to try to pull the ball, or not try to, but he does tend to pull the ball the right side of the infield. So they're going to check up over on Luis Guillerme at first. He does have 1 stolen base this season, but he gets back safely. And Austin is nearing 80 pitches. He's got 76 under his belt so far. And Brandon Nimmo. So now Guillerme and Nimmo are both pretty fast, so maybe a ground ball here would not be double play, just depending on how hard the ball is hit. The fastball is going to miss up and in. 2 balls, 1 strike now to the left fielder now for the New York Mets. So he's supposed to start in center because Mcneill got hurt. Billy Hamilton replaced Jeff McNeil in the batting order, went out to center, and Nimmo slid over to the left field, which I just learned about the last inning, I think, defensively when the play came across. So 2-1, runner on, 1 away for the leadoff batter. And that's going to miss down. 3 balls, 1 strike. Gonna grab a quick drink of water here. Two home runs for the New York Mets offense has propelled them to a 3-1 lead at the moment here in the bottom half of the 4th. But we know this game is not over. At least not quite yet. We still have lots of baseball left. Donaldson's solo shot in the 2nd. And 2 innings later here, we see Tomas Nido with a 2-run home run. Brandon Nimmo puts a bunt down the third base line. Beautiful. And there you go. It's going to be a foul ball. Carter Keema lets that one go. But that is a perfect bunt. So it's now 3 balls, 2 strikes. The count is full. And, of course, Trey Turner was probably waiting for that ball to go foul. You don't want to let that stay fair and have the runners advance. But as I actually mentioned before, Nimmo did say that he was going to try to go ahead and beat the shift a little bit more than usual, with the shift being more apparent as of last season. With a full count, he's probably not going to go back to the bunt here, because if it is a foul, he does sit down and return to the dugout. But we'll see what happens here. The full count now. Austin's 80th pitch will be on this throw to the number 1 batter of the New York Mets in the lineup. Runner on first, 1 away. Ball 4, going to miss outside. And there you have it. Brandon Nimmo will reach again. He'll walk Guillerme to second, and it looks like Austin may have a finished game here. He may no longer be in unless they're just going ahead to talk to him here. We'll see how things go. Austin, 2 games coming into today, this season. He was 0 for 1 with a 1.8 ERA, so that's jumped up a little bit, giving up 3 earned runs. In his career, he had pitched in 15 games with a 3-3 record, a 3.68 ERA, 66 innings, 62 strikeouts, and 1.08 WHIP. He's taking this ball game. It's just a meeting. The catcher and I guess pitching coach out there, just making sure, like, hey, calm down a little bit. Talking to his right-handed pitcher, trying to cool him down, let him get back into it, and recollect himself. Because now you have J.D. Davis, and he's slotted in that number 2 spot for a reason. I mentioned before as Wander Suero warms up for the Nationals, but I mentioned this before a little bit. Major League Baseball organizations are starting to slot some of their better hitters in that number 2 hole. You get them up in the first inning, A, and B, you just get them more at-bats, more reps, more chances to make game-changing plays offensively. So we see that with Aaron Judge. We see that now with J.D. Davis. He got hit before in the 3rd inning, which was his last at-bat. He'll come up again now, just 1 inning later. In the first pitch, he sees his ball. J.D. Davis struck out looking, got hit by a pitch in the 3rd. And right now, runners on first and second, 1 away. So this is another big opportunity here. If the Mets can go ahead and grab some more runs, you might want to say that they could be the favorable team. But the Nationals have a really good defense. And now they're saying I want this to happen because, of course, I don't. But the Mets bullpen is not necessarily the strongest. So they have to kind of add some more runs here to their lead. Swing and a miss there from J.D. Davis, and that's going to be 1-1. J.D. had 60 at-bats prior to today's start with a 300 average, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, and an 861 OPS. He was one of the major contributors of this New York Mets team offensively the past couple games. Him and Conforto both had 3 home runs and 11 RBIs coming into today. J.D. in the 2-hole, Conforto batting cleanup. So you have both of those bats and big opportunities to score some big runs. This is going to miss outside. It's now 2-1 to J.D., the third baseman, but also kind of like a utility player. He can play the infield. He can play the outfield, and we might see him get some outfield reps if Jeff McNeil is indeed hurt and misses a few games. Now, Davis's nickname is Dizzle. I mentioned this in one of my previous streams. If we had the Players Weekend jerseys, which I'm a big fan of Players Weekend in general, that's when players get new uniforms. They can put the nicknames on the back or their last name, whatever they choose, and they just kind of have fun with it. We've seen it the past, I think, 2 seasons in Major League Baseball. It's something really cool. And, there's this big phrase in Major League Baseball. This is something that we all know of. Let the kids play. Let the pitchers celebrate a big strikeout. Let the batters or the hitters bat flip or just get excited with a big home run. That's all part of the game. We get to have fun watching the game. They should have fun playing the game because they are the ones, they're doing all the hard work here. So it's fun. I like Players Weekend, but that as well as the Home Run Derby and All-Star, of course, this season were canceled because it's only 60 games. And, we're trying to fit a season into a really weird schedule. And, also like an All-Star game and stuff like that and a Home Run Derby, you're bringing a lot of players from a lot of different teams together. So there's a lot more exposure and chances of someone getting sick. So, of course, you can't really have that this year. But hopefully next year things will be back to normal. I mean, things better be back to normal next year. If not, if we come around in like March again and we're still kind of going through everything, that would be pretty upsetting. And just this year, these past couple months have been very weird, and it was difficult to not have baseball throughout the start of it. We were getting right into the groove of things. It was supposed to be Major League Baseball opening day. As like we got to the thick of it, and a lot of things closed and things got canceled. Major League Baseball was one of them. Got temporarily postponed, and it finally started up last week or so of July 23rd and 24th. But it's been very fun ever since the return of this sport and just sports in general. I mean, I only watch baseball, but I know having sports back, just in general is awesome and definitely something that we all needed here. A sense of normalcy. So the 2-2 to J.D. Davis, a curveball. And he hits it well. Trey Turner going to get it on the ground, make a spectacular play. It's a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning, just as the Nationals drew it up. And that is unfortunate, 6-4-3. But, that is a double play that ends the inning. The Nationals give up 2 runs on 3 hits against the New York Mets offense. Dom Smith with the leadoff double, Tomas Nido with a 2-run home run, and Luis Guillerme with the single. 2 runs on 3 hits there. The Mets offense is actually looking good. They put up at least 1 run in each of the first 4 innings. Of course, they really capitalized this past offensive inning as they put up 3. As they put up 2 runs on 3 hits, and that's big. They've limited the Nationals, but they've also themselves done quite a bit of damage at the plate. The only thing is, of course, both teams have left runners on scoring position, but that is okay. That's going to happen. The teams are going to have that where they maybe don't have the best clutch players up at the right time. So we'll see how things go here. Again, like I said, it's still very early on. We cannot say this game is over. We cannot say the Mets are going to win this one. It's only a 3-1 ball game, but it is a 3-1 ball game. This is no longer tied at 1 run apiece. So David Peterson's going to come in for the first time. For the first time in this ball game and have a lead. So he can maybe pitch with a little more comfort and relaxation to his name. As the Nationals, they scored a run in the first inning. So right off the bat, Peterson was down 1-0 later in the second. He would be tied. Now in the fourth, the Mets have a lead, and that sets up Peterson for potentially his 3rd win of the season. It'd also be his 3rd win of his Major League Baseball career. And Austin Both, the right-handed starter for the Washington Nationals this afternoon, 6'2" right-handed pitcher, will probably be done after just 4 innings. We'll see Wander Suero or someone else come in for the Nationals here. I would assume the next time the Mets hit. So Peterson is still well into this ball game. Just 56 pitches, and he's going to face Yan Gomes, Michael A. Taylor, and Trey Turner. Here in the top of the 5th, the first pitch that Gomes sees is a curveball going to miss down for ball 1. That one registering at 88 miles per hour down and away, but a called strike by Torres, the home plate umpire. And that's going to be fouled back, 1-2. So the Mets starting pitching has always been somewhat shaky. They have one of the best pitchers in baseball, if not the best pitcher in the National League, in Jacob deGrom. But there has been a lot of run support with him the past few seasons, and the Mets just don't always play well behind their best pitcher, which is unfortunate, and things happen again. That's baseball, right? But they have Jacob deGrom, who is very good. They had Noah Syndergaard, and he was out because of Tommy John. He's missing all of 2020. Marcus Stroman opted out after, I think, being injured, and he just decided not to come back. So he's out as well. Adam Wainwright is pitching. He might have been sent down. I actually don't really follow the Mets as much as the Yankees, so I don't really know who's all on the active roster, but I know Waka is hurt. So starting pitching is rare and it's limited. But Luis Rojas having David Peterson in at least this game to go ahead and shut down the Nationals, no matter what happens with the bullpen, David Peterson has looked good. The 1 run that came in on his behalf, while he was pitching, was unearned. It was because of an error for the most part. And the full count here to Gomes, he's going to get to foul back. It's going to remain 3-2, but he's looked good. Jacob deGrom now is, of course, the ace still. That's not going to change, but David Peterson is up there. Make a name for himself, maybe be like a number 2, 3 starter. Again, I don't really know who they have. I think they pitched Gazelman made his first start, I want to say, the other day, maybe yesterday, but the Mets want to take a split in the series. That's their best case scenario. The Nats have already won 2 of 3, and this is game 4 of 4. The Mets won yesterday, and if they can win today, that makes it a 2-game win streak. They can go into their next series, maybe have some momentum behind them, and Gomes is going to get the upper hand here and a single against the southpaw Peterson. Now that's actually the first hit that David's allowed, and again, he's just looked very good. That pitch missed outside. Not even missed outside. Maybe that's just where he was going for. But Yan Gomes gets a piece of it, sends it the other way. His right-handed batter takes it to right field, and it's going to hop into the glove of Michael Conforto. So a leadoff single that brings up Michael A. Taylor, and then it will be the top of the order for the Nationals. First pitch is knee high, right down the middle, called strike. Now Taylor grounded out to second base back in the second inning. He's unsuccessful in getting on base so far this game. And Seth Romero, now a lefty, is warming up in the Washington Nationals bullpen. Taylor shows bunt, pulls back, but it's a called strike anyway, so that counts into 0-2. And now I don't know about, what the strategy is here. If Taylor gets the sign from his base coach to try to bunt again, but on 2 strikes, if it does go foul, it's an out. So he will return to the dugout if he attempts to bunt and it is not fair. I'm assuming though maybe he just kind of takes the at-bat and swings. That would be my guess. And he does. Fouls this one back and out of play. Count remains at 0-2. Now, Peterson and Nito have been a good combination, a strong battery for the Mets, especially. Honestly, the battery for the Mets might be one of the highlights of this game, minus Dominic Smith getting on base twice in 2 crucial scenarios, the first being a solo home run, the second being a leadoff double, which he then scores on because of the Tomas Nido 2-run homer. But Peterson has looked very strong on the mound. Tomas Nido has been calling the right pitches. He's been helping guide David Peterson to a strong 4 innings at the moment. And then he has a 2-run home run, which is currently the deciding factor of this ballgame. The Mets lead 3-1 in the top of the 5th. So Peterson now with the 1-2 delivery. Gonna miss just low, seeming to be a changeup there. And he just misses down in the zone. Pretty much over the heart of the plate. Count's gonna be 2-2. Again, leadoff batter Trey Turner is standing on deck. And then assuming he gets on base, Adam Eaton will also make an appearance here in the away half of the 5th inning. There's a shift against Taylor as the count goes slow with the fastball that misses inside. A lot of fielders on the left side of the infield, so like we see again, another batter who seems to frequently, kind of hit the ball down the left side of the infield. And as a right-handed hitter, that's not uncommon whatsoever. So full count now. Of course, you want to try to attack it, maybe induce a double play. That's going to be an off-speed pitch that misses over the heart of the plate. Michael Taylor sends it to the shallow outfield grass. Billy Hamilton, a long run in, but calls up who looks like to be Luis Guillerme, and he makes the catch. So a pop out to what is the center fielder. So P8 in the scorebook here. It's going to be 1 away with 1 runner on first. And now we have Trey Turner coming in. If we look at Trey Turner's stat line, other than making a great defensive play to end the bottom of the 4th for the Mets offense, he is currently 0 for 1. He walked in the first inning, later scored, and then he popped out in foul territory, I believe, to the first baseman, Pete Alonso. So looking to see if he can maybe redeem himself here, get his first hit of the game. Maybe a big one, but no, he's going to ground it to second. Guillerme flips it over to, oh my goodness, Jimenez. Sorry, I can't speak here. Guillerme to Jimenez. Jimenez over to Alonzo, but not in time. The speedy Trey Turner is safe, avoids the double play. But Guillerme, a great throw. He just kind of sidearms it out of the glove to Andres Jimenez, who was covering the bag, makes a good throw over to Pete. But Trey Turner does just beat him out. He's fast. Nothing to do about it there. They made the play very well, executed it perfectly fine. But then he is just going to be out because Trey Turner has got wheels. So this is going to be a fielder's choice. And he'll reach first. So he's now over to Trey Turner. That brings him to lefty Adam Eaton, facing the southpaw David Peterson. 240-pound, 24-year-old. 71 pitches through 4 2/3 innings. Allowed a leadoff single here in the top of the 5th, which is the first of the ballgame for the Washington Nationals offense, but nothing further to this point. Now, Adam Eaton's only home run, he only has 1 and 3 RBIs for the season with 1 stolen base. His only home run came against the New York Yankees on opening day. The only one that Garrett Cole actually gave up, and the only hit as that game was called because of rain through, I believe, 5 innings. It's 0-2 now to the Nationals right fielder. Trey Turner stands off at first, taking a little lead. 2 away. Again, Turner off first, Adam Ian up. The Fausto's going to miss down, and away count's going to be 1-2. So Starlin Castro, who has hit the ball very well, entering today, sitting 304 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs and 56 at-bats. He is due up. Now, Castro is 0 for 1. He walked and grounded out to third. Eaton advanced. He reached base via an error and then flew out to right field so far today. He's also 0 for 2. He'll swing and miss at an off-speed pitch down and away. That'll end the inning for David Peterson, and that is strikeout number 1, 2, 3 for the lefty today. So no runs on 1 hit, 1 man left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th here. The bottom of the 5th may be my last inning streaming. Just we're kind of going to see time-wise where we go afterwards. But this has been really fun, guys. I'm definitely going to try to stream the Mets a little bit more, with the Yankees being my team and the team that I really focus on and watch a whole lot. I do stream them typically more often than not than the New York Mets or than other teams. I was also contemplating maybe the ESPN game tonight. It was going to be the Orioles and Phillies I was thinking about, but I went with the other New York team, another team that I root for, being the New York Mets, and the division rival Washington Nationals for today. Very happy. This has been fun, guys. This has been really, really fun. It's been a good game, good baseball. I said at the beginning, we had some people ask for like score predictions or what I think the game was going to end with. I said it's either going to be very close for a long time, where it's going to be a blowout and one team's going to put up a whole lot of runs, maybe starting early on. And it seems to be that first way. It's been very, very close. Now, of course, those might seem like the only 2 options because, yeah, it's either going to be close or one team's going to do well. But, it's hard to make predictions and stuff like this because you got young pitchers. You got 2 good teams who aren't playing well, through the first, handful of games. Both teams have played a different amount. The Nationals, this is game 15, and the Mets, this is game 20. But 2 good teams who aren't doing crazy well, who aren't super successful, but who have really good players from top to bottom. They have good pitching. It's hard to say, and it's hard to say with any given matchup in Major League Baseball team or any sporting event. You can't necessarily predict. Of course, you have teams and you have like people who say, well, the odds here are, in the Mets' favor or the Nationals' favor, but I don't always really look into that kind of stuff. So I just kind of run it off of my own thoughts and, kind of who I think is going to have the upper hand here. And this one was hard. Reigning World Series champions versus a paper team that looks a good team on paper in the New York Mets. And, we're going to see how things go. There's a lot on the line, but at the same time, not much because you are playing for 3rd place in the division right now. The Nationals win. They have another, lead over the New York Mets by a game and a half or so. Now, Seth Romero comes in and pitched in the minors in 2018. And, if the New York Mets win, they get 3rd place in the division, which is kind of huge because that is potentially a playoff spot. So Seth Romero comes into pitch for the Washington Nationals. At the moment, with how the score is, 6'2" righty starter for the Washington Nationals is at fault for the loss, assuming the Washington Nationals do not come out on top of this game. So we'll see if they can maintain that lead and maybe work off of it a little bit more. Here in the 5th, the New York offense will be led off by Billy Hamilton. Michael Conforto and Alonso will all also see at-bats. And I think this is probably going to be the last of the stream, guys. So once these 3 outs are recorded, I am going to call it a day. First pitch, Billy Hamilton sees from the new pitcher of the ball game. He's going to foul back, and now he actually fouls it down the line. We've seen Billy Hamilton put up 2 very good at-bats. Now, neither of his line drives have been good for base hits, right? He actually went ahead and lined out to center field and then right field. This one almost hits him, backs him off the plate here. The count's going to be 1 ball, 1 strike. But he's hit the ball well. It hasn't found the ground. He hasn't gotten on base yet, but I think he is due very soon. Or maybe his first hit of the ball game. So Hamilton, Conforto, and Alonzo. Neither of these 3 guys, or none of these 3 guys have gotten a hit yet. Conforto has worked a walk. And this pitch here is going to be a called strike 1 and 2. Romero took something off of that one. That comes in at 80 miles per hour. And the 1-2 payoff pitch. Swing and a miss from Billy Hamilton, 82 miles per hour. First batter faced is the first out retired for the Washington's bullpen arm. Michael Conforto stepping in now. He flew out to left field back in the first inning. And in the third, he walked to not get further than first before the inning came to an end. We'll see if he can get something going here. Entering today, Conforto had 68 at-bats. He's hitting .324 with 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and a .940 on-base plus slugging. First pitch he sees is going to be put into play. It's a fastball low in the zone, and he beats it out for a base hit. So I'm trying to see what happens here. Now, I get excited a little towards the end there. Delayed reaction, but that's a low pitch in the zone. He gets on top of, the bat gets on top of the ball. He dribbles it down the first base line, and Romero goes over to try to go ahead and make the play. By the time he gets to the ball and flips it, Conforto, who he can definitely run, gets the first safely. And it's an infield single for his first hit of the ball game. His second time reaching first base, but his first base hit. So 1 out, 1 runner on first base, and Alonzo stepping in. Now Pete is hitting .222. He grounded out to shortstop in the second, struck out looking in the third with bases loaded. And now with Michael Conforto on first, he's going to take a ball up and away for ball 1. Dominic Smith, who's had a crazy good day at the plate, is in the batting circle, due up, following Pete Alonso. Now there is a shift against the Polar Bear Pete. You got 3 fielders on the left side of the infield. He actually hits a line drive to right field. So A, he goes against the shift, but B, collects his first hit of the game. That's going to be single out to right fielder Adam Eaton. He'll get the ball in. So Conforto won't go further than second, but Alonzo will find his first hit of the game. He'll get to first. You have 2 runners on for Dominic Smith. Now, Dom Smith is the left-handed designated hitter for the ball game in this New York Mets lineup. His first at-bat was a solo home run in the second. His second at-bat was a leadoff double back in the fourth, which he later scored on the Tomas Nido home run. He's hitting .282 with 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, and a 1.093 OPS. This is a huge opportunity here with 1 runner retired. Michael Conforto leads off first. Michael Conforto leads off second. Pete Alonso leads off first. And the first pitch of Dom Smith is a ball. So another single here should score at least 1 run. A single to the outfield I think would be enough to get the speed Conforto across the plate. Be the 5th run of the ball game, 4th for the New York Mets, as they hold a 3-1 lead over the Washington Nationals here in the bottom of the 5th. And that's a fastball up and in. And Dom Smith takes that one for strike 1. Of course, trying to avoid the double play is Dom Smith, and trying to induce it, on the other hand, is the lefty reliever, Romero. Off speed over the heart of the plate. Just about high, called strike 2. So maybe Dominic Smith is waiting on a fastball or something here. And we'll see what the lefty DH can put up in this at-bat, being behind in the 1-2 count. 93-mile-per-hour fastball outside. He fouls it off of his body. Takes a few steps. Hopefully he's okay. Just looks like he hit off his leg after making contact with the bat. So the count's going to remain 1-2. Again, runners on first and second, 1 out here. Romero has thrown 11 pitches since entering the game, just in this inning. He started off the bottom of the 5th after Voth was pulled through 4 completed innings, allowing 3 runs and 2 homers. Dom Smith being one of them, or being responsible for one of them. Now a changeup, 82 miles per hour, down the heart of the plate. Like, that's right down the tunnel. I think Dom Smith might want that one back, but he fouls it out of play. Again, counts will remain 1-2. 12 pitches now for the reliever. 1 away, runners on first and second, bottom of the 5th. Mets lead 3-2. 1. Andres Gimenez is on deck. He's 0 for 2 this ball game. I had him as someone to watch where he really hasn't produced too much of anything as he popped out to short and he grounded out to second. Now Dominic Smith is going to go down on strikes as he swings and misses at a pitch inside. Looks like he came in 82, 83 miles per hour. So second strikeout of the inning. And Romero could work out a potential dangerous situation here and keep the Mets at only 3 runs through 5 completed offensive opportunities and appearances. Andres Gimenez now hitting .271 with a .675 OPS. And compared to the .283 and .704 numbers he had put up entering today. Front door pitch off speed is going to be a called ball. So he's ahead in the count 1-0. Runners on first and second, 2 away. Conforto in scoring position to Pete Alonso at first, where he does a lot of his time defensively. Of course, as the New York Mets first baseman. Romero steps off. Big fan opening weekend when the Yankees played the Nationals. Washington had like a really nice new jersey, but it had like a gold trim to it, which was cool. And it had the World Series champions emblem on one of the patches on the arms, and I really enjoyed it. I think they look really clean. I would have picked one up, but typically the jerseys are pretty expensive, especially now with Nike being the sponsor. So maybe at some point, as the count advances to 3-0 to the New York Mets shortstop this afternoon. But yeah, they look really good. Just Washington Nationals like the red and white unis with gold and black trim. And I thought it looked really cool. They aren't wearing them now, obviously, because they are away. They're wearing their grays, their away gray uniforms with their red Nationals font color. And that's going to be a walk on 4 pitches for the young Andres Gimenez. That'll bring up Tomas Nido, the Puerto Rico native, comes in with bases loaded and 2 outs. Now, we've seen this exact scenario already before this game. Pete Alonso came up with runners on every base back in the 3rd. He struck out to end the inning. The runs did not come across. But you see Tomas come in here, and his last time up was last inning. He hit a 2-run home run, and he got every stitch of the ball. He looked very good, and he's 1 for 2 on the day with a ground out to second as well. So his 2-run home run back in the 4th is currently the deciding factor. If he can go ahead and get another hit here, add at least 1 more run to the board for the New York Mets, he's definitely considered for the most valuable player of this ballgame, assuming the Mets come out and win this one. A little meeting on the mound with the infielders and the pitching coach and home plate umpire. That's going to dismiss now, and we'll get back to the game as Nido will step into the batter's box. You want to keep this inning going. You want to keep it alive. Get the, bases loaded, and keep it that way, or score runs, which maybe single advances, probably at least 1. But you want to go ahead and you want to win this one here. You want to take this ball game from a division rival. You want to just win the game in general because you're off to an 8-11 start. And Tomas Nido, first which he sees, is going to foul back, but the Mets have not been good with runners in scoring position this year, and that's just a fact. They haven't done as well as they could have, or they could, when there's a runner at 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, and someone up. Now with 2 outs, big opportunity to score some more runs. Get ahead here early. You're already up by 2, but if you could tack on some more runs to the scoreboard, you definitely feel a little bit better bringing in relievers. They feel more comfortable pitching. They have a bigger lead. A fastball blown by Nido, the Mets catcher, up and away, 93 miles per hour. He's going to wave and miss. So 0-2, bases loaded. The Mets today are 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, and 5 for 13 yesterday in that same scenario. 1 for 9, you could have a whole lot more runs in this ball game. But oh my goodness, Tomas Nido, have yourself a day. His 2nd home run of the ball game is a grand slam. The Mets are now up 7-1. I'm putting on my Mets out here. That's a 394-foot home run. Wow, Tomas Nido, have yourself a day. 2 home runs in back-to-back innings. 6 RBIs. What a game and performance for Tomas. That'll bring in Conforto from third. Alonzo will score from second. And Andres Jimenez will touch second, third, and home on the home run here. Wow. Tomas Nido with 2 home runs and a called strike to Luis Guillerme here. Huge at bat. Again, right to left field. Juan Soto looked back at one point, knew it was gone. He couldn't even try for it. It was way over his head and the wall. That is crazy. Now the 1-1 to Guillerme. And let's see where this pitch missed. So Romero got it right down the middle. It's right where a batter wants it, right in like the good zone. It's just he obviously misses off. I don't think he was aiming to go there, obviously, but clearly a mistake pitch that now leads to a 6-run deficit for the Washington Nationals. Luis Guillerme will ground out to second, and that'll end it. But not before the Mets score 4 runs on 3 hits. It is now 7-1 in New York's favor. That's going to end it for me, guys, here on the stream. Thank you all so much for joining, being in the comment section, just supporting me as we go ahead and called this ballgame, and just in general on the channel. Can't thank you guys enough. I would not be here without each and every one of you guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, I'm going to drop a like down below, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're making our push for 1,000 subscribers. This was really fun for me, guys. A great game. Go New York. Hopefully going to go ahead and pull out this game and win, even out the series, split it 2-2 with the Nationals, and make their way to third in the NL East division. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Peace.